at TabbFORUM, a lot of times we're talking about high-frequency trading and all sorts of different issues that traditional traders are looking at. Today we have a little bit different take. We're really looking at the private equity space. These transactions can last months, years, some cases decades. And with me to discuss what's happening in private equity is Jonathan Broch. Jonathan is head of pre-sales and product strategy for SunGard Investran. Thanks for joining us at TabbFORUM, Jonathan.
Thank you for having me, Larry.
Well, I guess the question is, markets at all-time highs, even, we're looking at quantitative easing, raising interest rates. Is the private equity business toast, or is everybody just going to go, IPO instead of go to private equity?
Oh, no, not at all. If you look at the numbers from 2013, they're extremely positive. Fundraising's on the rise, exits are on the rise, both two really good signs overall for the health of the industry.
That's great. That's good. So they're taking all the money that they're getting from all their outplacements and reinvesting it.
Sure. In fact, LPs have been cash flow positive for the last several years. And so in order to maintain their target allocations to private equity, they're actually looking to overcommit in 2014 and 2015 to really get their portfolios to the right allocation that they want to have for their private equity piece.
So as they look to this overcommit, they're going to be looking to try to, I assume, buy more companies, put this money to work, let these companies grow. And to a certain extent, not all the money is coming in evenly dispersed across all the different size units. So certainly the larger guys, I think, are probably getting a larger share of the pie. How are people competing? How are people looking at trying to leverage technology to gain scale? Are the mid and small guys out of this? What are some of the things that,
Sure.
that you see?
Yeah, it's a great point. So if you look at, again, the 2013 fundraising numbers, you'll see that about half of the commitments went to the largest 5% of managers. And so, that doesn't mean that it's the end of the medium or the small size manager, but it means it's increasingly important, for all managers, whether they're small, medium, or large, to be able to use technology to differentiate both their investment approach and to hone in on really what differentiates them and makes them special as a manager, and also to differentiate the relationship with their client and to leverage technology to improve the way that they communicate and share information.
So what are these systems doing? I typically think of, okay, private equity, I go buy a company, I hold it for a couple of years, probably 5, maybe 7. Can I do that on a spreadsheet?
Sure, maybe once upon a time, but the complexity of these transactions is significant. And the level of detail that folks are looking to get at to understand the investments that are held by the manager, and also to understand their own transactional activity, their calls and distributions, what the money's being used for. It's being scrutinized to a much greater extent. And there's a need to have good data management practices in place, both for investor reporting, but also for regulatory reporting and for other needs as well.
So it's not just, let me track all these transactions. It's really looking at how are they structured, who owns it, how, what's the ownership interest, how do I look at profitability of these investments, how do I attribute all the gains, certainly what the regulators are looking at,
Sure.
as well as how do I drill down into this information?
Yeah, if I can really break it down for you, I would say there's pressures on fund managers from 3 different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
It's from investors, of course,
Right.
looking for more transparency, looking for detail, wanting to understand those numbers that are on the PDF, and not just be satisfied with an account statement that shows a fixed number, wanting to understand the detail there. But then you're also seeing pressures from regulators, and in most jurisdictions, funds have to comply with some form of regulation, whether it's FATCA, AIFMD, 4MPF. And then, while a fund manager is making an investment in a system to have better data management practices and to really get their handle on this information, they're looking to leverage it to make better investment decisions, to make sure that they understand where historically they've been most successful and to hone in their overall investment approach. So there's the investment in technology is the benefits of it are manifested in so many different ways.
So in a lot of other practices, the PDF is somewhat dead. People
Mm-hmm.
aren't really that interested in static data reports. Everybody wants to be green, but in reality, reports kind of you see it and you're done with it. Now, at Investran, you're kind of doing something to break out these PDFs. You're launching a new product.
Sure. The name of the product is actually Investran Insight. And it's intended to give our clients who have data managed in Investran, they've got such rich data managed in our Investran application, information on their portfolio, on their investors, all the underlying transactions. And what the Insight technology is doing is it's enabling interactive data visualization, really just tremendous reporting on that information. So folks want to understand performance, they want to understand risks, they want to understand exposures. And it's really enabling folks to have that information at their fingertips, when previously it was sort of locked up in a PDF, if you will.
That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. So it's not just, you know, opening up the data, giving people, you know, better granularity of what's in there, being able to provide insight into, you know, GPs and LPs and the regulators. Also, I think you're doing some stuff in terms of being able to put it out on iPad and distribute it a little bit wider.
Yeah, certainly. So our technology, all of our products now are leveraging HTML5. So the latest in technology from that perspective, great user interaction, access from mobile devices. Our portals are translated in a number of different languages. So really provides for a rich user experience and for folks outside your traditional user base to be able to access the data and to be able to self-serve, if you will.
Interesting. With that, I think we'll draw to a close. Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. It looks like some interesting times for the private equity side. More money coming in, trying to really figure out how do I scale my investments from a large player standpoint, but also a medium and small player. Just really getting a better handle on technology, and it looks like the Investran guys are moving the ball forward. Thanks for joining me, Jonathan.
Great. Thank you, Larry.
Okay. And I want to thank everybody out in the TabbFORUM world. I'm Larry Tabb, founder and CEO of TABB Group. I'm here with Jonathan Broch, head of pre-sales and product strategy for SunGard's Investran. Thanks for joining us.
Great. Thank you.